Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, the premier source for Second Amendment news. Take two this time. Hopefully this phone won't crash. Today's video is brought to us by the United States Concealed Carry Association. The USCCA has a lot of training and education for new and old gun owners alike. It's what I use for my family because as a member, you get self-defense liability insurance. They'll have your back, God forbid, you have to make the choice where you have someone else's back or protect yourself. Hit the link down below. It's uscca.com/GNG. And let's get into this quick little news story. So today is SHOT Show day 1, and the crowds are not quite like they were in 2020 and 2019, but they're fairly decent. But it didn't take long before the anti-gunners took a shot across the bow for the National Shooting Sports Foundation, the people who put on SHOT Show. Yeah, they did it today too, as the beginning of SHOT Show commenced. I'm going to put this letter on the screen here. This letter was written by the Newtown Action Alliance. Dear President Joe Biden and Attorney General Merrick Garland, we urge the Department of Justice and other federal agencies to reevaluate their relationship with the National Shooting Sports Foundation. The NSSF is a well-funded gun lobby group that has contributed to the gun violence crisis in our nation by opposing efforts to enact gun safety legislation or reform industry practices. Specifically, the DOJ and other federal agencies must no longer fund, partner, or co-brand new programs with the NSSF. We also ask that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives no longer hold private briefing and training sessions at NSSF's annual SHOT Show without making their remarks available to the public online. The NSSF is headquartered 3 miles from Sandy Hook Elementary School. Since 20 children and 6 educators were killed by a gunman with an AR-15 in 2012, the NSSF has spent over $29 million to lobby against all common-sense gun laws. In fact, the NSSF filed an unsuccessful lawsuit against Connecticut for passing Public Act number 13-3, an act concerning gun violence prevention and children's safety, in response to the Sandy Hook shooting tragedy. The NSSF has worked fervently to oppose any and all gun safety measures with no regard for public safety, including legislation that would enact universal background checks, ban high-capacity magazines, and require safe storage of firearms in the home. For decades, the NSSF has flown under the radar by forging partnerships with legitimate organizations such as the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the ATF to mask its any guns to anyone everywhere agenda. Recently, the NSSF has even personally attacked gun violence survivor and former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords over her support for background checks, a policy supported by the vast majority of the American public, and criticized the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for urging more research into gun-related issues. Since the Sandy Hook tragedy 9 years ago, over 900,000 Americans have been killed or injured by guns in America, a horrifying statistic that's only getting worse in recent years. The CDC estimates approximately 45,000 gun deaths in 2020. Gun violence is a public health crisis, no it's not, and the NSSF has actively worked to undermine federal and state governments who attempt to pass life-saving gun laws. For example, while publicly supporting the enforcement of existing gun laws, the NSSF colluded with the NRA to cripple the ability of the ATF to regulate the gun industry. For more than a decade, the NSSF has worked to block the confirmation of qualified nominees to lead the agency, including President Biden's recent nominee for the role, David Chipman. The NSSF spent millions on ads to influence senators to vote against Mr. Chipman. In addition, Larry Keane, the NSSF's chief lobbyist, posted a photo of an FBI agent posing in the ruins of the Waco siege, falsely suggesting it was Mr. Chipman in an attempt to malign Mr. Chipman's character. As a result, Mr. Chipman and his family received death threats before his nomination was ultimately withdrawn. At its core, the NSSF is interested in one thing only: fueling profits for the gun industry. That is why, when sales of hunting rifles declined, the NSSF rebranded assault weapons as modern sporting rifles. Today, these weapons of war are the weapons of choice for mass shooters. Working closely with the NRA, the NSSF has taken advantage of the nation's weak gun laws to allow illegal handguns to flood communities of color. They then use these communities to exploit fear and convince people who live outside the underserved urban areas to arm up against the bad guys with a gun. The NSSF also stands with the NRA to support negligent business practices of the U.S. firearms industry that fuels armed conflict in Mexico and other nations. Funny, they're not mentioning how the ATF ran guns under Obama. We urge the Department of Justice, ATF, and other federal agencies to foster a more transparent relationship with the NSSF. We believe this would be a more effective way for the federal government to provide proper oversight for the NSSF and other entities of the gun industry. Sincerely, ban assault weapons now. And here's a list of some of the groups that have signed on to this. And they're the typical ultra anti-gun lunatic groups that we have all seen. So guys and gals, I'm preaching to the choir when I tell you that there are a lot of lies in this propaganda piece. We all know that what they're really upset about is that their pick, their promise, their gun control czar who ran on all these items can't get it done. Why? A, because he doesn't make law. He can't pass a law through bill through Congress because everything he wants to do is unconstitutional. They just don't like the fact that their utopia of unicorns and rainbows, of stripping us of our rights because of their feelings, won't work. So I just wanted to make you aware of this. This is a shot across the bow of the NSSF on the first day of SHOT Show, and there's a lot of lies in this piece. So let me know what you think down below. And remember, check out the uscca.com/GNG. There's a lot of good information there. And if you're here at SHOT Show, please stop me and say hi to those who I have met today. It was awesome, and it was my honor and privilege. So thanks for saying hi. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your community, your family safe. Remember that a gun on the hip is more effective than a cop on the phone. Take care, everybody.